This first encounter happened to me over 40 years ago at the young age of 7. For the first 8 years of my life, I grew up in a distant suburb of Chicago called Park Forest and went to Dogwood Elementary School, which was a short walk from my home. It was during a second grade field trip to the Des Plaines Dolomite Prairies Land and Water Reserve that I had the encounter that would dramatically affect my life forever. I honestly do not remember a lot of that field trip except seeing wildlife and going on walks around the reserve with my classmates. At that age, everything is wondrous and new, and I don't believe I ever had been on a nature walk in the wild before. As could be expected, we were all in fascination and excited to be in such a great exploration of those wetlands. I remember it being a magical experience, that is, until I had my encounter. I distinctly remember walking on a dirt path or trail through woodlands and walking in the back of the line of kids. Looking back, I'm really surprised an adult was not in the back overwatching the children. It was in the 70s, and life was much different, and not as fearful back then. Taking everything in at the back of the line, I had noticed a small turtle on the ground to the right of the trail, and I stopped to examine it. It was amazing to me because I had never seen a wild turtle before, and it was just beautiful. I'd stopped, squatted down, and after examining it for a while, I picked it up and was just enthralled with this little creature. So much so that I was completely oblivious to the rest of the class, and the adults had continued on down the trail and been gone for quite some time. I believe it must have been at least several minutes of being engrossed with my new little friend when I slowly came to the realization that I was completely alone in the woods. I don't remember being frightened at all by this realization, but I know I had to put the turtle back down on the earth where it was before, and as I did so, I remember hearing a noise coming from my left in the direction of the woods. I turned, and before me was something I did not understand. It was a hairy giant. Something that looked similar to Chewbacca from Star Wars was standing about 20 feet from me, but it did not make me feel safe or comforted. It must have come up behind me when I was alone looking at the turtle. My initial instinctual impression slowly changed from stunned astonishment to this growing fear as I came to the realization that what was before me was a monster, and I was completely alone with it. It stood there just looking at me. Its long brown hair came down and mostly covered its face. I don't remember being able to see its eyes at this point. After a few minutes of being still, it slowly started to sway back and forth while it was looking down at me. I don't remember ever having fight or flight experience or having a desire to run. Although I was becoming more and more terrified by the moment, I never thought of fleeing. Why? I don't know. What happened next is something I've been trying to understand and cope with for the rest of my life. It let out this incredible moan or cry that made my whole body vibrate. It was so very loud. As I was making this cry, something happened to me. I could not move. I tried to scream, but I could not open my mouth, and I could not move my body at all. It wasn't that I was just paralyzed with fear, but I was locked in place.